I'm going to be sharing with you in this video how to stop recreating old versions of yourself that you do not prefer, and how to step into something more. Because the truth is that you don't need to recreate any version of yourself that you don't prefer to see happen in your life. Like, if you don't want to see a version of yourself be created into existence any longer, you have full permission to let go of that version of yourself, to step into something more, to step into something more exciting, to step into something that resonates for you more than the current position that you're in. I'm going to be sharing with you in this video how exactly to do this so that you can actually become that person that you prefer to be in your life. Now, the first thing that I want to share with you in this video is just to remember that the past does not need to define you. You are not defined by the past. See, most people walk through life and unconsciously are attached to an idea of who they are, and it's based on something that happened in the past. It has nothing to do with what's happening in this present moment today, but they're recreating a version of themselves based upon something that happened a long time ago. So they think like, oh, I'm just this type of person. This is just how I've always been, right? That's just how I've always been. I've never been some people might say, oh, I've never been a talkative person. Now, if you know through experience and through much back and forth actually testing what you like and what you don't like, you realize that you don't want to be a talkative person, and that's your preference. That's different. But if you're saying that, oh, I'm just not a talkative person because that's just who I am, but there's this part of you that wants to be a talkative person, then there's a problem. If you're truly at peace with just something in your life and you figured out what resonates for you, then completely own that. Fully own that. There's no problems there. But if you know that you can be something more and you put this limitation upon yourself because of some idea that happened in the past, that's a huge problem. That's a problem that you're going to kind of have to carry with you, like, as you go through your life, and you're not going to be able to create that version of yourself that you prefer to be. You're going to be walking through life, and all you're going to be able to think about is the past when you know that you want to be something more. You know that you want to be something more, but all you're able to focus on is the past and the negativity and all these things. And that comes from this assumption that the past needs to define you. So remember that it does not need to define you. Any negativity or experiences of the past or something that doesn't resonate for you, none of that needs to define you. You define you. Which leads me to the second thing in this video, which is a question. And that question is, who do you choose to be? Who do you actually want to be in your life? Who do you prefer to be in your life? And who is that person? What resonates for you? Because the problem is that we don't actually believe that we have an actual say in the situation at hand. Like, we really, really believe that things just happen. You know, it's not our choice and we can't be the person that we want to be. And it's like, the question is, who do you want to be? Who do you decide to be? You know, there's going to be many opinions about, you know, what people think you should be and how you should show up in your life and what it is that you need to create. But have you ever took a step back and just reminded yourself who you want to be? Because who you want to be is something that you're going to have to actually sit with and not allow all this negativity and all this pain and all this resistance of who you used to be to define who you are. You can move through your life and just remember that, you know, you get to be who you want to be. It's completely your choice. That pain and that negativity is not required of you to attach to that any longer. You don't need to attach to it. You should, not that you should, but I would invite and encourage every single person to remind themselves who they want to be. Because, you know, wouldn't it be so sad if you're walking through your life and you don't get to consciously choose who you want to be? You know, you don't get to consciously choose what you prefer to be in your life. You know, you're going through life and you don't choose your intentions. Your intentions are just happening. To me, that's almost a disgusting way to live. It's almost repulsive to me because it's like you have this conscious power to consciously decide your intentions and to align those actions with those intentions to create what you want. And yet we're walking around, some people are walking through life and they're just letting their thoughts happen. Just letting things play out and not consciously taking control over the situations in their life, taking responsibility in their life. So it can really come down, is just so simple. It's like, how do you do it? Well, it can just be as simple as somebody asking you, who do you want to be? You can do so many things. You can do breathing exercises. You can do meditation techniques. You might have an epiphany on your own while you're reading a book. You might have an epiphany while you're taking action towards your goal. You might hear somebody just like me in a video ask you, who do you want to be? And then that's the trigger that makes you realize, wait a second, I don't need to recreate this version of myself anymore. It's like I can choose who I want to be, right? It's always a choice. We forget that it's a choice because we attach to the ideas that we have to do things. There's never any have-tos in life. Have-tos is a programmed belief that comes from believing that you're obligated to do anything at all. Nothing is obligation. You're not obligated to do anything. Who do you choose to be? What's your choice? Who do you let into your life? Who do you want in your life? Who do you choose to allow into your life? Who do you choose to be in your life on a moment-to-moment basis? That's the most important thing that I think people need to remember is, who do you actually want to be? Who do you prefer to be? Because if we go through life and we're living somebody else's life, that's a life that's going to lead to anger, resentment, frustration, not being aligned with your vision, not feeling connected to your purpose, what you want to see happen in the world, feeling drained, feeling exhausted, like you can't create what you want, powerless. These are the feelings that come when you live somebody else's vision. Instead of living into the vision that you prefer to see happen in your life, you're living into somebody else's vision. That's a huge problem. So who do you want to be? Keep this in mind as you go through your day. And I really do believe that you're going to have a much more successful time not creating that old version of yourself and to step into that new version of yourself that you actually prefer to be instead in your life. Now, the final thing that I want to share with you in this video is just to remember that everything in your life, once again, boils down to conscious choice. See, because a lot of times we go through life and we feel powerless. But the problem is that, have you ever considered that maybe even to feel powerless in of itself is a choice? To choose to feel powerless is you choosing to give away your power to a belief that you don't have a choice in your life. That even in of itself is a choice. Have you ever considered that even to feel like you're not creating your world and to give away all your consciousness power and all your intention power and all your attention and to choose where your attention goes? Have you considered that that's a choice as well? Have you ever considered that everything in your life happens not by accident but by a divine specific purpose? And what is that purpose? You are the purpose. You define your purpose and you choose to be who you want to be and you become the answer. The answers are not always going to be found in the external world. The answers sometimes are going to be found through you taking action towards your vision and the divinity moving through you. Then the question gets answered through you being the answer itself. You become the answer. You stop looking for the answer out there and you become the answer that you want to see in your life simply by making a decision to be who you want to be and remembering that you have that power. You have full permission, full power to actually do so because you get to decide who you want to be. Nobody ever needed to choose for you. That was a choice as well. If you ever believed that you had to live somebody else's vision, that was a choice to do so. Take it all back. Take your power back. Stop throwing away your power. You made that choice. That was all you. If you ever felt angry and resentful towards somebody, well, you chose to hold that anger and resentful towards them. Stop blaming them. Stop putting it on others. You don't need to put your anger and frustrations. It's so easy to point fingers and blame and say, this is the reason why I feel frustrated. No, it's not. You're the reason you feel frustrated. It's not outside of you. You choose now. No, look, now I'm not saying that I'm not going to be compassionate to certain situations where sometimes it's literally not your fault. Stuff just happens. But as much as possible, to the best of your abilities, try to take back your power. Try to take back responsibility. Sometimes it's not going to be possible. I understand that. I'm not saying that you're a perfect human being or that I'm perfect or that we need to be, perfect, but strive for perfection. If perfection existed, what would it look like? Try your best to not be attached to the ideas of the past and who you think you have to be, and be the person that you actually prefer to be by remembering that everything in your life comes down to conscious choice. None of it happens by accident. You get to choose your world. You get to choose the thoughts in your mind. There's many things in your life that you absolutely cannot control, and that's absolutely okay. But what can you control? Take responsibility of those. Take responsibility of those things that you absolutely can control. That's going to allow you to shift into the person that you really want to be and help you to stop recreating those old versions of yourself that you do not prefer so that you can step into something